All right, I'll call the meeting to order on the Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. Roll call members, please.
General,
Here.
Kai, here, leaders.
Yep.
Anderson.
Here.
Herder.
Yes.
You all had a chance to read the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes or make corrections?
Motion to approve. Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. At this point, I'll read a opening statement on how the meeting will be conducted tonight. The public hearing will be conducted pursuant to the board's rules of procedure adopted May 26th, 1988. We will first hear the report of the planning director on the detailed information and observations regarding the request. If not done so in written form prior to the hearing. Next, we will take the testimony of the applicant and his or her witnesses. Upon completion of the applicant's testimony, I'll call upon members of the audience wishing to make a statement concerning the request. Persons in favor of the request shall be heard first, followed by those who oppose it. At any time during the presentation of testimony, members of the board may interrupt to ask questions, make comments on what has been said. Upon completion of all testimony, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to the board. Upon completion of the applicant's closing statement, I'll entertain a motion to close a public hearing on the request. After the public hearing has been closed, we will then hear the recommendation, if any, of the planning director, and upon completion of all discussion, I'll entertain a motion from the members of the board regarding the disposition of the application. Each speaker addressing this board shall step forward to the podium, state their name and address before proceeding with their testimony or evidence. I would ask that you spell your last name. This board shall not be bound by strict rules of evidence, but does reserve the right to exclude evidence or testimony that may deem to be irrelevant, immaterial, incompetent, or unduly repetitious. As chairman, I will rule on all questions regarding the admissibility of evidence, which may be overturned by the majority of the board. The board may grant continuance in the case for good cause shown to any interested party who has entered his appearance. The board may at any time request a continuance of a hearing for the purpose of giving further notice, taking further evidence, gathering further information, touring the proposed site, or for other such reasons the board may find sufficient. In such case, we shall state the specific reasons for the continuance and set a date, time, and place when the matter will be continued. All official actions of this board will be made by public hearing by motion made, second, and polling of the membership. If conditions are imposed, such conditions shall be included with the motion or amended hereto. Our final decision will be prepared in writing and will be part of the public record of this board. Once this board has reached a decision on a case, that decision shall be final. Section 335.18 of the Iowa Code states, any person or persons jointly or severally aggravated by any decision of the Board of Adjustment under the provisions of Chapter 335, or any taxpayer or any officer, department, board, or bureau of the county may present to the court of record a petition duly verified, setting forth that such decision was illegal in whole or in part, specifying the grounds of legality. Such petition shall be presented to the court within 30 days after the filing of the decision of the office of the board.
I'll make a motion to open public hearing for case number CU-2025-07.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Public hearing is now open. Sharon Omak, if you would like to come to the podium, state your name and then kind of tell us what you have planned.
Thank you for hearing this application. My name is Sharon Omek, O-A-M-E-K. And I have been a part for about 8 years of a group called Present Community School Alliance. And we have been working most recently for the last couple of years to try to find alternatives since they closed the present school. We applied for a public charter school and got it approved last January. The school is going to be based on nature, art, and community. And so the setting is very important for the school. We actually went all the way through. We had enrollment initiated June 3rd. Open enrollment in Iowa goes till June 30th. And within the first day, we had 30 applicants that applied. Our first year, the number of applicants would be number of people enrolled would be 40 students. And today's the last day for enrollment, and we have 38 applications and 29 families. So it will be a small school, and we really feel like we have a strong curriculum and strong personnel working on it. What we ended up having is we've been working with Carrie Newman, who is an Iowa award-winning principal, and she now works as an administrator at the Green Hills AEA. And so she's kind of been consulting with us on the project. But what we found was we had been working on another site to lease, and it fell through in May. And so what we had to do was hold off a little bit on some of the teacher positions. Well, the result of that was in Iowa, teachers really sign up March and April. And so we've had a lot of teachers express an interest in being at the school, but they already had signed contracts for their existing districts. So even though we wanted to open this year, we're going to be opening August 2026. And we'll be meeting with the state this week or next week to finalize that delay. But it's a grant, it's given to us as when we're awarded it. Of the 14 charter schools that are been approved in Iowa, only 2 have opened within the first year. It's tough. We tried to raise money, and we're very appreciative for all the community members that have contributed. We've gotten about a little over 117,000. We needed 200,000 because the state per pupil money doesn't come in until September. So staffing costs and operations costs about 200,000. So all those decisions together had the governing board decide to delay the startup, but we still we don't have anything on the site except for my former restaurant, and I got more than 40 to 100 people at that restaurant at any time. And we had events there with no issues before. The school hours would be like 8:15 to 3:30. And so for the first year, we would not be having busing because there's a lot of regulations involved with that. That would really be tough, but we have had parents say that they would carpool. And right now, right on Mahogany, we have at least 4 cars that sit there for getting picked up from Underwood, that those people have already signed up to our school. So we want to provide the opportunity for the community, and we think it will help for the cohesiveness of Crescent. And we're excited to have a natural place for the kids to roam and learn on.
But then did I read right in here that you're gonna go all year round, 4 days a week, is that right?
Right, correct.
What size will the classroom be?
We'll have 2 classrooms with 2 teachers each, so it'd be like 15 people per classroom.
And how much room is in each classroom?
Well, we don't have a facility built right now, so
What do you-
it would be like, the regulations require 35 square feet, so we'd have to have probably about 3,500 square feet, so of any kind of building that we would end up having there.
It's gonna be a mobile classroom.
Well, now that we have more time, we'd like to have something nicer than that. So, and mobile classrooms cost like $200,000, so it's really not the optimal choice at this point. Since we
What's
know
your age range gonna be?
it's kindergarten to 5th grade. So it'd be 5 to 10.
You're gonna separate them from
What-
primary to intermediate?
Yeah, the idea is that it's kind of more based on individualized learning. So say somebody's really good at math, but not so good at reading, they'll be upstairs with the kids at math and then downstairs with the kids with reading. So they'll have a general grade level, but they can be challenged up to whatever level they'll be at.
Anyone else have any questions? Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else who would like to speak in favor tonight? Please come to the podium and state your name and address, please.
Hello. My name is Cynthia Gary. I live on Badger Avenue, not far from this location,
What's your specific address?
18277 Badger Avenue. And I have a long-term background in integrated teaching. I have a doctorate in ethnographic research, and I've spent about 25 years studying particularly the way artists and teachers can work together to enhance the learning of children. So this school goes a step further. They're not only going to be working with artists, but they're going to be working with farmers. They're going to be working with naturalists. And this is a situation where the experts and the teachers co-plan and co-teach. And the way it usually works is that because there's a better teacher-student ratio, the students are really working in small groups. So that when you're thinking about how this actually works physically, you don't have big groups of children, except maybe in a morning meeting of all the children. They not only break up into their classes, but within their classes, they're also breaking up into smaller groups. And that's where the individualized instruction can occur. They're still getting a very strong academic background, but it's being implemented and applied in ways that are real world in context. And so Sharon's property has 75 acres. And it's not just anything. There's a stream. There's beautiful hillsides of grasses and prairie. There are 2 incredible hollows that are all bur oak. And then you can go on those ridges to a point where you can see all the way out. And you can see Hitchcock Nature Center, which is one of our partners in developing the school. So we're talking about a learning situation that's also one of the state's new choice schools. It's a choice school that is designed to be a small school. And the small school is designed to innovate in education, to create innovative learning that then can be implemented and ripple out to the Council Bluffs school system, to other school systems. It's a place where people come together and work very hard to try to find new things that work for children, and then it can be distributed in a wider sense. So we're not talking about huge groups of children. We're not talking about a lot of noise. We're talking about children distributed out for at least half the day in that big natural area. And that's what I wanted to share with you so that you can imagine what it's going to be like. It's not just classrooms. It's not just one teacher and a whole bunch of kids, and the kids are running around crazy. It's a structure that's very involving and very freeing for children because they have a structure where they can learn and follow their interests.
Are you gonna be tied to the state testing?
Yeah. Yes, we are 100% part of that. We're not afraid of that. We expect our children to soar on those scores. That's what all the research indicates. And all of our teachers will be trained, and we're recruiting people who already have experience in taking in the classroom the standard curriculum and then including it and integrating it with other things. So that's happening in classrooms all over right now, but now we're going to add to that actually physically being in different places and different environments.
Thank you. Anybody else at this time who would like to speak in favor? Anybody who would like to speak opposed, please come to the podium, state your name, address.
Frank Moran, 28460 Coldwater Avenue. I got a little statement I'd like to read. I am here to respectfully express my strong opposition to proposed zoning change that would allow a Crescent Nature Charter School to be located directly adjacent to our large-scale farming operation. I want to make it clear that we are enthusiastic supporters of the Crescent Charter School and its mission to provide high-quality, nature-based education for children. We appreciate and value the role it plays in our community and believe in its potential and positive impacts students and families. However, we are deeply concerned that this particular location, immediately next to a working cattle and crop farm, is not appropriate or safe for such use. Moran Beef has been farming in the location since 1887. We take great pride in continuing this strong-standing agricultural tradition. Our family-run operation contributes to the local economy and food supply while following all applicable farming regulations and best practices. Our concerns are, number one, traffic safety. Our farm involves regular use of the gravel road separating the proposed school site from our property by heavy trucks, livestock trailers, tractors, feed haulers, and other large equipment. These vehicles pose safety risk when sharing the road with school buses, parents' vehicles, and children walking or biking in the area. The increased traffic congestion and potential for accidents is a serious concern for all involved. Noise, odor, and routine farm activity is another. Farming operations naturally involve early morning activities, loud machinery, animal noise, and the presence of strong odors, especially during manure management, feeding, and field work. These are normal aspects of farm life, but are not well suited to a quiet, child-centered learning environment and may lead to future complaints and conflicts. Number three, right to farm protection. Moran Beef has operated for generations under Iowa's right to farm law, which exists to protect agriculture operations from encroaching, incompatible development. Establishing a school next door could jeopardize those protections, subject us to pressure to alter or limit our operations that are essential to our business and fully compliant with the law. Number four, environmental and dust considerations. Large-scale farming generates dust, runoff, and naturally occurring smells from the fields and livestock. These conditions are difficult to control and may create ongoing challenges for a school that emphasizes outdoor learning and environmental health. In conclusion, we fully support Crescent's charter school and the vision it represents. However, placing it next to a long-standing, fully operational cattle farm presents real and unavoidable conflicts that could negatively affect both the safety of the school and the continued success of our farm. We respectfully urge you to seek a more suitable location, one that supports the school's mission without compromising agricultural operations that have sustained this land and community for over 135 years. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Questions there? Thanks, Frank. Thank you. Anybody else who would come up, speak opposed?
Craig Moran, Moran, 25849 Old Lincoln Highway. Frank spoke of the traffic and the odors. I want to tell you that when my kids were in school and had their graduation parties, we did not hold any graduation parties at the farm because you never know what the odor and which way the wind was going to blow. There were no graduation parties for my kids at home. The second thing is that he spoke of the lagoon that's right across the gravel road. On the east side of the property, there's another lagoon that pumps from that location into the other lagoon. The creek that she spoke about is deep. And at the upper end of the creek, where it comes on our property, there's a farm pond. And also where the bridge, and I don't know if you guys remember being kids, but sitting on the banister of the bridge would be something I would go do when I was a kid. So there are just a lot of hazards. The highway is right there, and I would say the typical speed on the highway is probably 65 miles an hour. And so that's what I came to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Anybody else speak opposed?
Penelope Core, 25663 Old Lincoln Highway. On the south side of the proposed area. I think, whatever, on the other side of the creek. I also totally agree with the public charter school system, just not on that parcel. For mainly the children's safety. Like they all said, that bridge, I live right there. My driveway is right before the bridge. We have a sunroom that we sit in. I mean, I have a 1,600 square foot house and a 192 square foot sunroom that I use the most. You see people flying all the time. They actually try to pass the tractors on the bridge. The creek is extremely deep. It is not your normal bubbling stream. There's coyotes. We have no deer because we have coyotes. You don't see deer out there. I came from Perry Road outside city limits. We had deer all over. There's the creek. There's coyotes. Coyotes are at night. I understand that. But as children, the smells that make money are there. The traffic is extremely busy. I mean, I just wish that they would find a different parcel with all the nature and everything to put this excellent ideal of a school for children. That parcel, I think, is 25 or 49 acres that they're talking about. I mean, they have other land, but that certain parcel, if you look on Pot County assessors, is not 75 acres. I'd like to know what it's going to look like. In the site plan, it showed a driveway. We have no idea of what it's going to look like if this goes forwards or if it's on the other side of us. The traffic is a big thing for me. Again, for Pottawattamie, the school is an excellent ideal. But the dangers for the children, I think, outweighs putting it on that parcel. That's it. Thanks. Bye.
All right, thank you. Anybody else like to speak opposed at this time? Ask for a closing statement if you'd like to make one.
I understand the concerns that were addressed today. First of all, a safety plan would be required by the state as with any other public school. Secondly, the bridge is before the parcel, and also we had constructed underneath the bridge that we could go underneath the bridge, and there's fencing there. for that. It's not like there's no fencing to keep the kids from running off the road. Also, the kids would not be going out there without supervision. So we have, as Cynthia mentioned, small pockets of kids with large amounts of people, other adults there supervising. I had a restaurant there for 3 years and I had events and it opened Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays and never had a complaint about the odors. So that was in the summers. I didn't have it operate all year round. It's not optimal. We have spent a lot of time looking for sites. I'd welcome anybody to try to come up with another site that has the natural amenities that this site has. That particular parcel is smaller, but we're connected to the rest of our parcel that the children could have access to. And we're willing to share that access and to share the farm animals. And I would hope that you would consider favorably because it's already been 2 years. It'll be 3 years before we could have school built. It would be, as I mentioned, we're more interested in having aesthetically pleasing building, hopefully timber frame. I would venture to say that most buildings in Crescent aren't that nice. So I don't think the quality of the building needs to be a concern. And thank you for your time.
This time I ask for a motion, to close public hearing.
Make a motion to close.
Moving second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Vote the same, motion carried. Public hearing is now closed. I'd ask for staff's recommendation.
So in the staff report that we submitted to you all, the public charters, public schools or schools in that zoning district are an allowable conditional use for that area. And you know, there's, like I said, with that restaurant on the site, traffic, you know, there are always concerns that come up with that. So if you all did want to do a site tour, you know, in the past, we have done site tours so that you can get an idea of the layout of the site and things like that. But since it is listed as an allowable conditional use for the property and what we've been presented so far seems to be in conformance with that, you know, the recommendation from us would be if this is to be approved is the list of 9 conditions on there. And that is, the first condition would be that the applicant shall meet all of the criteria from the state of Iowa to be considered a public charter school. The second condition is that the applicant shall obtain the necessary commercial building permits to either renovate or construct a building in accordance with Pottawattamie County building codes. Number 3, if the well servicing the property is to be utilized by the public, it has to be approved by the Iowa DNR as a public water supply. Well, number 4 is that the septic system would have to be installed and sized to handle the capacity of the building and proposed use. Number 5 is that the parking lot shall be constructed in accordance with the Pottawattamie County codes and provide the necessary ADA hard surface parking spaces. No on-street parking would be allowed. Number 6 is the signage would be limited to Pottawattamie County codes. Number 7 is that the driveway for this conditional use shall comply with section 503 of the International Fire Code. Number 8 is that the site shall be inspected and a certificate of occupancy issued before occupancy begins. Number 9 is that the applicant shall meet with the local fire department and tour the site to familiarize them with it. That's based on the following findings of fact. Number 4 is that the subject property is in the A4. It's the Les Hills District. The county zoning ordinance adopted in conjunction with the land use plan stipulates that the proposed land use is a permitted conditional use in the A4 district. Number 2 is that the subject property is in an area primarily utilized for agricultural and residential. The conditional use wouldn't be foreseen to have negative impact on the area properties. Number 3 is that the existing road system would meet the proposed use. Number 4 is that the aforementioned conditions would minimize any of those potential adverse impacts to that.
Any other discussion on the board? I guess my feeling on that is being that close to a large scale operation, I don't think that it is safe. I think that the kids, if they get off site and they get into chemicals or, it wouldn't take much to really be a bad deal, but, I think the school is a great idea, but I just don't know if that site is the right one for the thing, but I think that's just too many moving parts that have been there, for a long time and, especially like the lagoon right across the road. I mean, a lot of times I can have 3 or 4 feet of water in it. I've seen at times. And so, but that's my kind of theory on the thing is I think that's the site may not be, if it restricts the other people that are already there, it looks like that might be a consideration. That size of a farming operation and close to a school.
I would tend to agree with you. It just doesn't seem like it's a prime site for me. With the farming operation that's right across the street from there. I mean, I think the school's a great idea. I just think you could probably find a better location. That's my personal opinion. I would like to see you find a better location for it.
Is there any other way they could access it from some other back road or anything, some other way that you could get into it without, getting into the middle of their operation?
No, we went through that a lot with when they did the restaurant there. I mean, you have a bridge and a creek. I mean, it's a corner of a property, so you're gonna access it from Mahogany Road. There's no other way to really get to that.
Did we hear a case on this a few months ago, or was that a different school?
Maybe
That was the-
on Monument,
Yeah, on Monument, that's.
that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
That was where they were going to go.
Got it.
Originally, yeah.
Anybody else have any other discussion on the board here?
What are the rules about fencing around the property?
So that comes, we had a lot of conversations about we had questions, everything from, the locks on the doors, security. These days with schools, there's 100 things, right? But that is, you're not gonna find that regulated through the zoning ordinance. That is gonna come from the state of Iowa and their inspections and their inspection checklists that they do on that. So, that's why, I mean, we were asked to delve pretty deep into it and really all of those things, all that criteria and things come from the schools. I mean, we have currently in the county, rurally, right? We have Tri-Center out there. We have Riverside out there. And, we've done permitting at each one of those facilities that are out there. But we don't get involved in the fact of whether or not do you have your doors locked during the day? Are your sports areas or playground areas fenced and that part of it, that all gets dictated down to them from the Board of, I guess it'd be the Department of Education at the state level. So where those things come from, but.
I haven't seen a playground that isn't.
Right.
Oh.
Mhm.
And 38 parents think it's a good spot.
Well, I would make a motion to deny the request.
We have a second? My second as chairman or no? I gotta have.
No.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Okay. All right.
I'll second, so we can get a vote.
All right. Moved and seconded, roll call vote.
Anderson,
What is the vote? How are you gonna say that?
well, we're supposed to do random names, so Lynn made the motion, Austin seconded, I'm trying to.
I mean, yeah, yes, throw me out first, but
Robert's rules.
if I want to deny the,
So the motion is to deny.
Motions,
and
and if
And
you
if I
do not
don't
agree
want
with
to
that,
give-
then you would say nay.
nay.
Sorry.
Herder,
Nay.
Yeah, I
leaders,
worked it out for you.
Yes.
Kai,
Yes.
Jennifer.
Yes. Motion has been denied. Sorry for your time. Thank you for everybody for coming. I think we all agree that their site is the only issue involved here. Otherwise, the school was a great idea, but I think it's just that site is got some limitations, I think. But anyway,
Is there anything else on the agenda?
We have one discussion about, for other business would just be July 1 for zoning board of adjustments. There was a state code change. It will be made, that change will be followed up with Pottawattamie County code change to the history of variances. You all have had to look at, is it a hardship to be able to grant the variance? That language is now changed to practical difficulties. Nobody really knows what that means yet. It's not defined out necessarily in any Iowa case law of what that means. So, just be aware that there may be some changes in the request for variances that come to us. We'll do our best to try to advise you on the practicality of a difficulty, because it's obviously gonna be very personalized. And when, you know, we have people that come in who, well, I like that tree there, that tree that's been there for 20 years, and but if you were to have to actually build something, the tree's gonna have to move, you know, those cases. So there could be things like that that come up from now on. We're doing our best to kind of do some research and find some documentation for you on it, so
I didn't know other business.
that's it.
Okay, that I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.